Gwen Stefani reveals true ethnicity in weird rambling interview. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Gwen Stefani is doubling down on her Harajuku Girls era. In a bizarre new interview, the pop star revealed her true ethnicity. This comes 14 years after the release of her first solo pop album, Love, Angel, Music, Baby, and her Harajuku Lovers fragrance collection. Fans fondly remember the time when Gwen made her foray into pop music. She had her own gang of Harajuku girls who couldn't speak, even when spoken to. Gwen was accused of cultural appropriation during that time, and for much of her career. She defended the decision she made during that time in her career. The country singer also shared her true ethnicity, which puzzled fans. Gwen Stefani rambles in a bizarre new interview. Fans are concerned about Gwen Stefani after her new interview. She sat down with Asian writer Gisa Marie Kalor for an editorial piece in Allure magazine. Gwen admitted she is Japanese because she traveled to Japan and has an affinity for the culture. She rambled and made the point several times in the interview. "My God, I'm Japanese and I didn't know it," Gwen Stefani declared. Of course, that's not true. The No Doubt singer was born to an Italian-American father and an Irish-American mother, per Rolling Stone. Gwen Stefani spoke to the Filipina-American reporter as she talked about her new makeup venture, GXV Beauty. She also dove into her past beauty collaborations. At the height of her music career, Gwen released her Harajuku Lovers fragrance collection, which was inspired by her Harajuku Girls backup dancers. She insisted that she is Japanese. "I am, Gwen Stefani repeated. She also addressed the criticism for fetishizing and appropriating other cultures. Her most notable moment was in 2004, when she used Japanese aesthetics derived from Harajuku fashion. Her group of 4 Japanese dancers would accompany her during performances and her Harajuku Lovers tour. They also attended red carpet events with the voice coach. If people are going to criticize me for being a fan of something beautiful and sharing that, then I just think it doesn't feel right," Gwen Stefani explained. "I think it was a beautiful time of creativity, a time of the ping-pong match between Harajuku culture and American culture." She shared that she was a super fan of Japanese culture. In that same breath, Gwen also admitted her innocence about it. Still, she defended herself for using that aesthetic in her album era. No Doubt singer defends Harajuku Girls era. Gwen Stefani has appropriated from other cultures throughout her career. When she was in No Doubt, she wore a bindi on her forehead. She was also accused of appropriating Native American and Latin American cultures. Gwen doesn't feel that's what she's doing with her art. "It should be okay to be inspired by other cultures, because if we're not allowed, then that's dividing people, right?" Gwen Stefani mused. Later in the interview, Gwen said that she was not 100% Japanese. She described herself as a little bit of Orange County girl, a little bit of Japanese girl, a little bit of English girl. Gwen also feels that she relates to the Hispanic and Latino communities. The slow clap singer described herself as "whatever mutt I am." Gwen Stefani's rep claimed that her quotes were taken out of context. She hasn't spoken out about this interview. What are your thoughts on the Harajuku Girls album era? Do you believe that Gwen actually thinks she's Japanese? Sound off below in the comment section. It was a sunny afternoon in Los Angeles, and the anticipation for Gwen Stefani's upcoming interview was palpable. Fans and journalists alike were eager to hear from the pop icon, known for her dynamic career and unique sense of style. The interview was set to take place in a chic, intimate setting, an upscale cafe known for its eclectic decor and vibrant atmosphere. The cafe's walls were adorned with vintage posters, and its cozy seating areas provided the perfect backdrop for a candid conversation. Gwen Stefani arrived in her signature style, dressed in a bold, colorful outfit that showcased her flair for fashion. Her platinum blonde hair was perfectly styled, and her bright red lipstick added a touch of glamour to her look. As she settled into her seat, she seemed relaxed and ready to share her thoughts on a variety of topics. The interviewer, a well-known journalist with a reputation for insightful questions, was equally prepared. She had spent weeks researching Gwen's career from her early days, with No Doubt to her successful solo career and ventures into fashion and television. She knew that Gwen's fans were eager for updates on her latest projects, but she also wanted to delve deeper into the singer's personal life and heritage. The interview began with the usual pleasantries as the journalist and Gwen exchanged greetings and small talk. They discussed her recent performances, upcoming album, and her role as a coach on The Voice. Gwen's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as she talked about her passion for mentoring new talent and her excitement for her new music. As the conversation flowed, the journalist decided to steer the discussion towards Gwen's background and influences. She knew that Gwen had always been open about her Italian-American heritage, but she was curious to learn more about her family history and how it had shaped her as an artist. Gwen, you've always been very proud of your Italian roots. Can you tell us more about your family's background and how it has influenced your music and style? The journalist asked. Gwen smiled, her eyes lighting up at the mention of her family. Absolutely. My dad's side of the family is Italian, and I grew up surrounded by a lot of Italian culture. The food, the music, the traditions, it all had a big impact on me. My grandma used to cook these amazing Italian meals, and I have so many fond memories of those times. She continued, but there's always been this curiosity about my background. People have asked me about my heritage for years, and it's something that I've always been interested in exploring more deeply. As the interview progressed, Gwen's tone became more reflective. She seemed to be gathering her thoughts, as if preparing to share something she had been contemplating for a while. The journalist noticed this shift and leaned in, sensing that a significant moment was about to unfold. Gwen began, her voice slightly hesitant. I've been thinking a lot about my ancestry lately. It's something that's always been a part of me, but I've never really delved into it beyond what I knew from my immediate family. Recently, I decided to take a DNA test to learn more about my roots. The journalist's interest was piqued. That's fascinating, Gwen. What did you find out? Gwen took a deep breath and smiled. Well, it turns out that my heritage is a lot more diverse than I thought. Of course, I have the Italian roots that I always knew about, but there's also a mix of other ethnicities in my background. It was a bit of a surprise, to be honest. The journalist leaned forward, intrigued. Can you share more about what you discovered? Gwen nodded. Sure. In addition to my Italian heritage, I found out that I have some Irish, Scottish, and even a bit of German ancestry. It's amazing to think about all the different cultures and histories that have come together to make me who I am. As Gwen shared more about her ancestry, her excitement seemed to grow. She began to delve into the details of her findings, discussing the historical context of her various ethnic backgrounds. Her thoughts seemed to flow in a stream of consciousness manner, weaving together stories, cultural references, and personal reflections. It's funny, Gwen said, her eyes twinkling with enthusiasm. When I think about the Irish and Scottish parts of my heritage, it kind of makes sense. I've always felt this connection to Celtic music and folklore, even though I never really knew why. And the German ancestry, well, that's a whole other story. It's fascinating to think about how these different cultures have influenced me in ways I never even realized. The journalist listened intently, captivated by Gwen's rambling yet heartfelt narrative. It was clear that this discovery had deeply affected her, prompting her to see herself and her artistry in a new light. News of Gwen Stefani's interview spread quickly, and her revelations about her diverse heritage sparked a flurry of reactions from fans and the media. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions about Gwen's newfound ancestry, with many fans expressing surprise and excitement. Gwen Stefani is part Irish and Scottish? That's so cool. One fan tweeted, "Love how she's embracing her heritage." Others were intrigued by the singer's reflections on how her ancestry had influenced her music and style. Gwen's always had such a unique vibe. Makes sense that she's got a mix of different cultures in her background, another fan commented. However, not all reactions were positive. Some critics questioned the authenticity of Gwen's claims, suggesting that her revelations were a publicity stunt. Is Gwen Stefani just trying to stay relevant by jumping on the ancestry bandwagon? One skeptical tweet read, "Amid the mixed reactions, Gwen remained focused on her journey of